All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to, oh my God, it's faces. There are faces here.
Oh, I can
We've
see
never
you
done
people.
faces. No, now you can't. Now you can't see me. It's not happening, Crystal. Anyways, welcome to Ask the Pages Turn, you guys. This is our first guest episode.
Yes,
We have a surprise for you guys. And I'm very excited about it because we have a lovely narrator on here who's an awesome book talk person and is just awesome. Like, I don't know how much do we say
awesome.
but even though he's awesome, we will still be asking evil questions, though. But he's
not
awesome.
Evil. We promise we would never do that.
There's a couple evil. Crystal's lying. There's a couple evil questions. Anyways,
I'm totally
That's all right.
lying.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Such obvious lying. And now you know we don't lie to you because now you know how we sound when we're lying. Obvious. Okay, so Carlos, do you want to introduce yourself to everybody other than us just calling you awesome?
That humbles me. I appreciate it. I appreciate the praise. I'm Carlos Case. I'm a narrator and a voice talent, and I've been doing VO/audiobook narration for almost a year now, actually.
Awesome.
Yay. Yeah.
That's cool.
And how many books have you done, real quick?
I have 2 in distribution on ACX and Spotify and 1 in post-production right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we made official questions with the help of some other narrators. So, how did you get into narration is the first question.
Okay. Do you remember there was a previous time where I said I went on a deep dive into philosophy for like a year, right? I said that to you a few days ago, I think.
Yeah.
It started with, remember I said control my tangents, okay? So stop me when you need to. I played a game called Starfield when it came out, and Starfield had an interesting, it's a sci-fi game, had an interesting narrative toward the end of the game where it's like mess with like a multiverse idea kind of thing. And that set me on like a hyper focus into physics.
Yeah.
And that sent me into the conclusion that we don't really know anything. And that sent me into philosophy. And so
nice.
I basically absorbed as much as I could about metaphysical philosophy for a good probably year. And then I was able to give myself permission to pursue something creative after that, because I struggled a lot with the risk involved, you know, like the risk you take when you pursue a new venture, right? The risk of failure, am I good enough, and once I gave myself that, I gave myself permission to do it, because I've always had that hole that being a father and a husband doesn't it doesn't get filled. There's a certain part of you that is just, or at least a certain part of me, where a creative outlet is necessary. Yeah. Right. And I tried writing a book. Wasn't for me. Not good at it. You know.
That's our thing. Your job is to read our book.
You know what I'm saying? So and then it hit me one day when I was just singing a song from the movie Ice Age 4 with my youngest.
Yeah.
And I was just mimicking the voices properly. And I'm like, I've been doing this my entire life. What am I doing? And then I said, I think this is something I'm going to do. You know, I think I'm going to try and figure out how to do this. And that was like opening a window in a stuffy room for me.
But no, that makes sense that you needed something just outside, because, if you only have just the responsibilities of life, you're not doing something that you're passionate about, it makes sense that you're trying to find something to fill that hole, because who wants to just do nothing in life?
Right. Yeah, for sure.
And then next up.
Okay, next question, my dear friend. How many narrations have you done?
I've done 3 audiobooks. The first one I did on my own was in a fantasy horror novella called Seventh Son. That's on Audible and Spotify. And I've done The Amentian, written by Silas Seabrook. That's on Audible and Spotify. And I'm part of a duet narration for Beyond Tomorrow by Tammy Weiss with another narrator, Tegan Burke. and that's in post-production right now with the engineer. So hopefully that'll be in distro by the end of this month. Hopefully.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Exciting,
and is that her dragon book, Tammy Weiss, or
no? No, that's her.
No. Okay, so that's what she's working on now. Okay.
Yeah. Beyond Tomorrow's the new adult dystopian fantasy.
Nice. Okay. And then we have some, because interspersed in our questions, we were like, we want to ask some deep questions. And so we have some fun ones, and then we have some deep ones. And then I did include 2 evil questions. I don't care. Anyways.
Oh,
but here's a deeper question. I think they're evil. You know what? I call them. So you know what? They're evil. So what has been like your biggest obstacle in this field? Trying to be a narrator, whether it's BookTok or if you put stuff on, like what has been your biggest obstacle that you've had to kind of overcome or get around? Or
time. Because I still work a full-time job, right? Like a lot of us in the indie space, right? I do my day job, and then for 3 to 4 hours a night after my kids are in bed and stuff, I do voiceover stuff.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So time. Not enough time in the day.
We just need more hours in the day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, like Kevin, if you can give us like 10 or 20 more hours, we would greatly appreciate that.
Right. Yeah. Just a few, like 10, that's a solid. Because then we could do all the narration, all the writing, all the editing we need to do, and still have a life.
Yeah. Okay, next question. What is a zany vocal warm-up?
So oftentimes I'm not like a good voice student or something where I'm like doing the proper things or what have you. I know a couple vocal warm-ups, one that I've been doing since high school because I was in drama club and chorus and all this stuff. I've been doing, it's called Coffee. Just COFFEE, coffee is not for me. And it's, you do a whole thing where you keep going up and down. I also do like
I object. Coffee is for everybody. What do you do?
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Although that does give me flashbacks to high school when the orchestra teacher cat is constantly going Lola Lita, Lola La.
Oh my goodness.
Those kinds of warm-ups. Yeah. Often I'll just sing a bit to warm my vocals up. I'll also do like I don't have any vocal straws nearby, but you take like it's a vocal straw, it's just a small straw, right? Okay. And you just hum your scales through it, and it gets everything loosened up in here. Yeah.
So is it just a regular straw, or is it like something you
can
like...
use a regular straw, but you can also order them. Yeah. Order them. They're varying sizes and stuff. Yeah. You can get real into it. It's like anything else.
I didn't even know that was a real thing. Like,
we are learning stuff.
The things we learned. I thought you guys were just playing with straws all the time because you had a thing for straws. Like,
I half the time I use regular straws because my youngest will get in here and just take stuff. So, like, he'll get in my booth and just steal things. So,
right, you got to have like a hidden drawer with all your stuff.
My dog clickers go missing. It's ridiculous.
I'm not surprised. That's a cool booth. It's probably like your little one's like the time to explore.
He actually, every once in a while, he'll take the iPad. We have the iPad he uses all the time, and he'll record a video in here and like sing a song or something, or like he'll do voices and stuff. It's pretty cute.
Aw, that's cute. All right, so this is a 2-part question. So which accent is the hardest? And also, please do it for us. Yes.
Shit. I should have waited. I should have waited for the entire direction.
For the whole question, right?
Dang. Okay.
I did say.
Scottish is. I've learned because I asked several people for feedback on that Scottish accent for the script you gave me.
Yeah.
Not the script, but the snippet you gave me. And I've been told that it sounds like a Highland Scottish accent versus like a Glaswegian, like Glasgow Scottish accent.
Yeah.
I've looked that up. That's wild. Glaswegian is wild. But so I'm not recalling the script. I know I can do the accent or the dialogue you wrote. That's what I know I can do. I'm not super confident in anything else. Because I basically, to learn it, I took 2 days and just rabbit hole on how to do a Scottish accent.
Yeah.
Is about the only experience I have with doing the Scottish accent.
Yeah. So now you still have to try a line, though.
Yeah.
So
Try.
the biggest things, right, are the tapping of the R's and the the dropping of the glottal stops with the T's and stuff.
Okay. I have no idea what a glottal stop is, but I'm going to say yes.
Like
and nod my head.
instead of saying what, a person with a Scottish accent would say, they go what? They drop the hard T.
Okay.
So like battle.
Yeah.
Went into battle.
Okay.
You hear me, lads? Went into battle.
Now I see what you're talking
Wearing
about.
our kilts. Yeah. We
wear
our kilts into battle.
He's saying bockhole or bottle, and I was like, I don't know why he's going into a bottle, but like,
I'm a genie in a bottle.
Okay, now, by the way, now you've signed yourself up for doing genie in a bottle in a Scottish accent because now I need to see this.
I don't even know. That's the only lyric I know. The only lyric I know.
Send you all the lyrics, and then I'm going to go on BookTok and say, "Hey,
oh no, you're frozen.
Has to do this now.
Your picture's frozen. I don't know what's going on.
Okay,
what happened?
Look,
my internet must be out.
You know what? I'm watching. Just wait. I'm going to message you after this.
Yeah, we need that on recording.
Hold on, I'm making a message in the chat right now. Carlos, genie in a bottle.
I'm a genie in a bottle, baby.
Crystal, next question. I'm just writing stuff down innocently.
I know. I just felt like we were going to take this further, but anyway. Okay, lost the questions. Okay, what is one thing about narration you think that would really surprise people?
Audiobook narration specifically. It's very laborious. It's not, especially if you're doing your own. Say again?
I said, I believe you, because I remember I did a little voice for barely even a chapter of my book when I was reading it, because at the time I didn't know any narrators. And if I had, I bet I could have got you guys to do that for me for a really nice price.
Yes.
But it was a nightmare. And I was like, never again, never again. So the second you said laborious, I was like, oh yeah.
The learning curve is steep. You know what I mean? It's not like doing it on your phone. You can't do it on your phone.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You need to know there's certain technical aspects you have to be aware of and be able to deal with. And if you're engineering your own stuff, it takes time. It's a labor. An audiobook is a labor of love. So you have to love doing it. You know what I mean?
I do not love doing it, because next time I have to do that, I will either be like Carlos or one of the many other narrators I know. Y'all are doing this for me.
See, this is why we collect narrators in a basement. I mean, this is why we collect narrators. Right? I was talking about. I don't have a bunch of narrators locked in my basement, but besides that, YouTube don't get me for this, anyways. But besides this, yeah, you know what's funny is because I've seen people who don't understand that narration's like actually like it's the same as trying to write a book. It's very intensive because you're trying to get everything right. It takes lots of hours, and it kind of cracks me up when people are like, "Oh, well, they're just talking." Like by the way, I saw this on a reality show because somebody was making fun of somebody who was a voice actor, and they're like, "Well, what are they doing? They're just talking." And I'm like, "You don't." I literally was like yelling at the screen. Yes, it was the Housewives show, I think. But anyways, I was literally yelling at the screen, like, you don't know what you're talking about. It's not just talking because they're having to get everything right. And try imagining to put emotions and reactions into just your voice so that people hear it.
Even like commercial voiceover, which is where like that's where big money is, right? As a voice actor, it's like commercial animation, and that's for big money. That's really it. You know what I mean? Like steady money. There's a bunch of that's the whole thing. Is it's very wide ranging as an industry. But even if you're doing a voiceover or a voiceover commercial for Monster Energy, you know, you have to know the different ways to deliver things. You have to be able to study copy and because most of the time you get an audition via email. you audition with the script. You're just getting the script, the copy.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to know how that. You have to be able to go, oh, this is Monster Energy. I'm not going to say, like, sip on your Rio Punch, Monster Energy. It's going to be like, they don't want to. That's likely not a casual delivery. That's going to be more amped up because it's an energy drink. You have to be able to like think about things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to act like you're on crack because that's
you know what I mean?
What's in most energy drinks. Yeah.
And there's a lot of technique that goes into it that you either get trained on or pick up along the way, or both.
Yeah.
It was funny because I was raging against that TV show, and I was like, you don't know what you're talking. Anyway,
these are friends like our amazing Carlos here, who we've known. We talk to you all the time, and you and the other narrators have told us all the crap you guys have to go through. So to hear a question like that, and you want firsthand talk to people who deal with that every day, it's like, screw you, asshole. You did more than damn talking.
Yeah.
Well, you know what's funny? I'm actually going to skip. I'm going to skip a question. I'm going to a discussion question I have that we can talk about because this is a question I've been wanting to ask a narrator, partly because I kind of already know the answer, by the way. But the question I'm going to ask is also for the audience because I feel like there's a lot of audience people out there, especially on BookTok. And by the way, this is going to be one of the shorts on BookTok. But this is also something that I think needs to be talked about. So the discussion question was, what are your feelings about how audiences treat narrators, especially male narrators, and kind of sometimes the feral treatment that a lot of you guys get? And I wanted to ask that because, I mean, I think any of us in BookTok have noticed that. And a lot of times, like in our lives, we check it. We don't let it happen. Like, we're like, you need to check yourself because this is not a piece of meat. This is a human. Like, check yourself. But I wanted to get your perspective on it because I think it's important that, like, you guys get heard that on this discussion point that it sometimes gets talked about, but a lot of times people are like, oh, well, it's not that serious, but yeah.
I will talk about it.
And you don't have to go in depth, by the way. You don't.
I will talk about it with a caveat that I don't experience it as much because I put right up in the forefront that I don't narrate explicit scenes, right? Yeah. So I'm not the spicy audio narrator. So I don't get a lot of that, but I have been privy to some of the goings on in that regard, especially as far as seeing like live hosts and stuff and BookTok people squash it real quick, which is good to see. Yeah. You know, I've talked to other male narrators that are like, yeah, it happens all the time. Like sometimes it gets real creepy. Like, you know,
I know.
Like they have to really try and put a stop to it. But people get feral. You know, whether it's the accent the narrator has or the deep voice or how growly their voice is. People on the internet with anonymity, it's like it feels like the internet is like an alcoholic beverage in some ways because people tend to lose their inhibition. You know what I mean? Which is a good thing and a bad thing. But
and it's like it's great for the support wise, but I'm always kind of a person of like, you know, yes, okay, you have some anonymity, but the thing is, as long as you guys keep coming into lives, like the narrator will get to know you, like other people will get to know you, and honestly, like sometimes I just want to be like, is that how your mother raised you? But for real,
right? Yeah, no, I hear you.
It's not a bad thing.
Important. Yeah.
If it's like a spicy live or a spicy, like I think there's times and places, but I've seen some of the people who are just kind of off the top, and I'm just like,
and I think it varies per narrator. Because I've been in lives where a narrator will come in that is known for causing chaos, you know, and will be like, just start good girling all over the place just because that's what they do. You know what I mean? And if that's what they do, that's what they do. You know, as long as everybody's okay with it, there's nothing wrong with it. But
it's fine as long as they know everybody's okay and just didn't go and do that with people at random.
Right. Yeah. Consent is very important. And that's another thing I've heard from like male narrators who do spicy audios is like, no, it's very much about consent.
Yes, consent. People listen. BookTube, BookTok, please consent. I will spell it. See,
all of you listen to consent. I'm throwing that in there because they don't understand that. But yes, everybody
flash it on the screen. Yeah, it's kind of okay. And then I don't know if I should go into my we're supposed to be interviewing you, but I have a whole rant about the good girl thing. But I will tuck it. I will tuck it down. But just come into my lives, people, once in a while. You will hear my good girl rant because I have a whole rant about that. So
yeah,
we rant a lot.
Been talking about a lot because we see people like that. Oh, please.
I never rant anyway. So Crystal, I think.
What is one voice that you get requested the most?
Okay.
Honestly, I don't really get so I don't really get requests like that. As far as from clients specifically, I will get it's varied, honestly. Like I've done it's a mix between not even really character voice, to be honest, but it's just a mix between my higher register and my lower register. So like either they'll want like with you like I did a voice in an animation promo, like proof of concept thing that's in production right now, where it's like a 7-year-old kid. Yeah. You know, I'm meant to be like super zany, kind of high register, or like Tribinius Cantus from the Amentian, higher register. Yeah. Or in Tammy's book, I play a character called Tyler or Thomas. Both characters, they're twins, but they have a register down here. Like my name is Thomas. So it varies, to be honest. It varies per client, but I don't really have people don't normally like request voices or anything from me. Because I'm terrible at improv. Like I'm terrible at improv. So it's not like I'm on a live. When I'm on a live, I'm usually just hanging out and chilling or whatever.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
You're letting authors go crazy in your comments.
Yeah, it really doesn't happen like that. I'm not usually hosting lives. I'm usually on other people's lives.
Okay, so now we have to get you on your lives so you can answer this question for us next time.
Yes,
more in
absolutely.
detail.
In the narrator's booth, as soon as you're done, we're going to have you practice that.
Anyway. And also, Crystal, I edited the question. Here, pause. Let me pause.
Hello, lovely people. We did not pause for a moment. We have been talking the whole time. Oh, yes.
Totally. But also, Carlos is over here huffing menthol, and I think we should have a talk.
It's a boom boom.
Boom, I get the feeling that name is going to be used in terrible ways anyway.
Anyways.
What's your favorite? Which voice that you've done is your family's favorite?
So both my wife and my kid get sick of my accents real quick.
That's great.
But my youngest has an attachment for some reason to like my villainy voices.
Nice.
They're two in particular. I have them on my my demo reel. The first one's called Vengeful God, and it's very deep, like silence. Enough of your pathetic excuses. That kind of voice. And then there's like I don't even remember what I called it. I think it's a demon, like a crazy, I don't know, crazy demon, something like that. It's something I forget the name. But it's like that is your life force leaving your body.
Nice.
That one.
So nice. Those two are his favorite.
I need to remember that one when I have you voice stuff from me. Your kids got
right.
Really good.
I have to write it. I have demons in this dragon book. Let me just write that down too. Demons for car. I'm writing stuff anyways. So
I remember that voice when I get a certain book published. I'm not going to say the name.
Right. I put it in the chat so you can see it, Carlos, right there in the chat.
I appreciate it. Absolutely. I feel included now.
You're included. Yeah, Carlos is we have a private chat, just me and Crystal, and he was very upset, but I think he forgives us now because I included him. And I also put Genie in a bottle too, because don't think I'm going to forget about that. I'm putting that on a pin-up note.
One can only hope.
Right? Okay, so this question is more about like giving advice, because I know I've seen a lot of like new narrators who come in and they kind of don't know what to do, don't know where to go, don't know even like the basic equipment. So the question is just, what is your general advice for starting out? And like, what would you advise them to get like equipment wise if they're trying to do any kind of voice acting from a they know nothing standpoint?
So this is going to be twofold, and one answer is going to be for those of us that have ADHD or can, for some other reason, hyperfocus.
Yes.
If that is the case, absorb as much content as you can about voiceover, period. Like, dive in how to be a voice actor in Google and just absorb everything and try to filter out the common denominators, and those are your answers. That's what I did. I want to be a voiceactor.com is a great free resource for new voice actors. And it's just a bunch of knowledge and information. I forget the creator of the website, but he's a renowned voice actor. I'm just terrible with names. But I always I know now USB microphones can be pretty good and really good even. I don't recommend them because I've not used a really good one. So I can't say for sure that these are perfect for this because I've not used a really good USB mic. I recommend an interface and a condenser mic and an XLR cable, which is XLR cable. Condenser mic. My interface, well, this is an old interface, but it's it works. Right now I'm using a Scarlett 4th gen interface. But even my setup, I've been doing this a year, and my setup is still very much a starter setup because it works. You know what I mean? It does its job.
It works. Yeah.
I will recommend a Scarlett Solo interface and an Audio-Technica AT2020 for equipment. Condenser microphone.
And what would be like your dream equipment? Sorry, I was like, I should ask this, and it's not anything. So, like, if you had like $1 billion, what would be the equipment you would get?
I would get a Neumann for a microphone, and that like a $1,300 mic. Yeah, but I would also, the first thing I would do is spend $10,000 and get a pre-made a whisper room, a voice booth.
That would be nice.
Right, because the whole thing is if I put a Neumann in my setup right now, it would pick up too much. It would be too sensitive. Yeah, and I'd have to do a live post in order to even sound. It wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, in my current space. Yeah.
And then for soundproofing, one more add-on question now that I'm thinking about this stuff. So I know like a lot of you guys have to put like soundproofing in whatever room you're using. So where would you tell people to go for the soundproofing part?
As far as like where to get the stuff?
Like the panels, like the stuff to kind of keep the...
So there is, if it depends on your budget, right? If you're really looking to be able to drop, if you're dropping money on like panels and stuff, you need to buy bass traps, legitimate bass traps. What is the name of this company? I can't find the name of the company right now, but
it's fine. Find it later. We'll put it in there.
If you're looking for like, it's a simple Google search. It's not, the stuff isn't hard to find, but like a lot of the time you can DIY stuff.
Which I've seen a lot of people do.
Right. You also get what you pay for. Like this.
Yeah.
This is a DIY acoustic panel. It's a box, duct tape, and there's rock wool insulation in here because rock wool insulation and foam is what's in real acoustic panels, you know? But basically, like, you're going to drop $700 on panels alone if you're getting legitimate ones. Yeah, like for a
So
decent.
they're not
size
cheap.
No, not at all.
Yeah,
You definitely get what you pay for because it's designed for what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's not like you can take like foam that you can pull out of like a memory foam mattress is different than acoustic foam. Like whether it's densities, like the densities of it, how thick it is, or like I couldn't even tell you because I don't make it. You know, but yeah. So you get what you pay for, but you can a DIY setup will work.
You just have to do it like, hey, DIY, if it works and it's not like unaliving everything that you're trying to do, then it works and use it because, ain't nobody rich right now. Well, it's 2025.
So many VOs start in a closet and just sitting on the floor of their closet, surrounded by hung up clothes, recording
my poor VOs.
You know what I mean? Because it works.
Yeah.
So that's why you guys like the blankets and snacks I put in the bed. Anyway, so next question.
There are no narrators lost in a basement. Literally.
I wasn't saying. I was just confused why they like the blanket so much. Anyway,
eventually you'll have to stop saying things like that, or you're going to get demonetized.
You know what? Nothing can be proven. Nothing can be proven as far as anyway. So. Look, I need like 600 narrators for my book. So, unfortunately, anyways, next question.
Next question. Mia, stop telling them about the basement. Otherwise, where I get people to narrate my book, okay? Okay, next question. Carlos, what is your favorite genre? And it better be fantasy.
It is fantasy. Absolutely. Fantasy for sure.
I literally put that in the question, by the way. Also, go on. Sorry.
Well, it's definitely fantasy. The first fantasy book I ever read was The Gunslinger, the first book in the Dark Tower series by Stephen King.
Nice.
Yeah.
But also he's scary, so he doesn't count. So you're gonna have to pick it.
My favorite fantasy series so far is a traditionally published series.
Oh no, it's okay.
It's wicked basic, bitch. Okay, it's the Stormlight Archive by Brandon Sanderson. That's my favorite.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he's not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, anyway. So before me and Crystal start saying that we're better, because we're not yet. We'll get there.
I don't know. We might be better.
You don't listen. I mean, it's 1%. I think 1% of authors publish. 1% of authors finish writing their books. Even so, y'all are the fact that you guys have stuff in the process of being finished or finished puts you in the top 5%. Period of people who pick up a pen.
Yeah.
But also, and I'm just saying, if you help that Luca, okay, we'll bring that in. That's book talk draw. That doesn't need to be in here. But I'm not ready. I'm not saying anything.
Rain in the rant. Rain in the rant.
Look, it's very hard to rate it. Actually, to be fair, I thought Crystal would be worse than me today, but actually, I'm the one that's being a loose cannon. So, anyways,
I think I'd be worse. Never mind. We'll talk about this later.
Look, you still owe me chocolate. I want to hear it. So, anyways,
my friend is still in Nigeria. Nigeria has no Ghanaian chocolate.
Look, okay, so you know what? Just for that, I'm asking the next discussion question. So. I know you're a non-spicy narrator, which I love because I think there's not to put down any of our spicy narrator people. We love them, but I think it's harder to be a non-spicy narrator because definitely there is a section of book talk that prefers the spiciness. So I think it's actually harder to do what you're doing, which I appreciate, by the way.
Yeah.
So part of my question is, please discuss your non-spicy life. Is it challenging to get those requests and turn them down? And kind of, do you get more or less or kind of an equal amount of requests? Like, discuss.
Okay. So the two most recent books I've narrated, the Beyond Tomorrow and The Amanthian, were based on auditions on BookTok where I submitted an audition, right?
Yeah.
Since I've done those auditions, like afterward, I have gotten 3 authors reaching out to me for spicy books that I've had to turn down. So I'd be rich.
Yeah.
The money is there in spicy books. as far as, yeah, I would say it's not that I feel bad, because there's a voice for every book. What I end up doing is I don't feel bad about it, because I then just refer other narrators. Like, I don't remember the author's name, but it was like a comment on my video led to a DM, led to her requesting me to narrate her book. I asked the questions. There is spice. It wasn't like, and it's not like I'm against spicy books or anything. I just don't want to narrate spicy stuff.
No, you say
right?
that. No. Yeah.
But I mean, like, I'm okay even if my voice is like in a multicast and there's spice in the book. If I'm not saying the spice, I don't care. Kind of thing. You know what I mean? But this character, there was spice being said by the male POV that she wanted me to narrate. And I said, oh, I don't do that, unfortunately. So I'm not the narrator for you. But if you give me a little more detail, I have no issue reaching out to other narrators and helping you find maybe who you're looking for. You know, so I'm definitely willing to list up other narrators. That's all.
Definitely. So then, what level? So for any authors who are watching this or who will hear this, and I'm also gonna like push you out too, because I love and again, nothing against our spicy people, because we love our spicy people. We love spice, non-spice, whatever. We love everybody. Sure. But also, like, I think that doing non-spicy to me is the hardest road, and I think you're doing an awesome job at doing that. Where some people might just be like, oh, I can do one. But you're like, nope, this is what I'm comfortable with. This is what I'm going to do. And again, that's what I think needs to be drummed into parts of Book Talk, is that, you know, people do what they're comfortable with, and that's okay.
Sure.
Like,
absolutely.
You know,
what are you comfortable doing? I've not yet thought of a coded, quote unquote, way to say it.
Okay.
I don't want to be the one saying I put the things in the places.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay.
I don't want to say the things. I don't want to say the specific things. I don't want to be talking about the sword or the flower.
The sword and the stone.
You know what I'm saying?
The stone.
Gotcha. Right. Yeah, the putting in of and the taking out of. Right. Exactly.
Gotcha. So, are you okay with innuendo though? Like, because I know for like my first two books have a lot of innuendo, but there's no like actual spice scenes. So, are you okay with innuendo?
I'm totally okay. Yeah, sure. Yeah, I think so.
Okay, perfect. So now I have you on for okay, perfect. Yeah. So I have you on for at least 2 Muse books is perfect, and I know Crystal can put you in at least so perfect. We got that.
I'm not against romance either. Like, I totally understand romance. You know, that's totally fine. I have no issues with romance either. And it's basically, it stems from my daughter being a reader.
Of course.
And I've already had to like be like, nope, not that book. She just turned 17, so she's getting some leeway now. You know what I mean?
Oh, gotcha.
But like 2 years ago, it was no. Like, absolutely not. You're not reading this.
You're like, what are you doing? What?
Right. I wouldn't let you watch this. You're definitely not reading this. But so it's and I've had recent conversations with her even where I'm like, I don't want to narrate that type of book, because there's a non-zero chance that you might hear me narrating that type of book.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that would be mortifying for both of us. So,
right? See what you could do with.
Didn't even know you were narrating it. Oh boy.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Right.
Just make a list and be like, these are the books you can't read. No, anyway. So. Be like, Daddy had to do some stuff, and we're not reading those books.
I mean, there's also like
to those books.
I also don't want to typecast myself. I feel like a lot of spicy audiobook narrators get typecast as far as males go anyway. Or at least mask sounding narrators. Tend to like, I've had them tell me like, oh, I just want to do animation, you know?
Yeah.
Or I just want to narrate a fantasy novel, like a regular fantasy novel. Yeah. But they only get offers on freaking spice audio. You know,
Oh,
Yeah,
because people have heard them do that.
Right. So
they're
it's like
just
what they're known for. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would much rather, like, 10 years, who knows? But like right now, I'm going to stick to non-spice for the most part.
And that's
pretty much
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think it was funny because I was having a conversation on booktok, and it was a few weeks ago, and I'm still determined to do this, where I was talking about where we should have a week or a month where we promote the non-spicy. Because again, and I'm somebody who and I'll talk about, I read a lot of spicy shit. I'm going to be writing spicy shit. I have innuendo stuff. I have non-spicy, I have all sorts of things on my palette. But I'm very much a person of, I think, and this is just my opinion, and I know some people on booktok are not going to like it. I don't care. But anyways, the thing is I think people have decided that some people have, looking into booktok, they have decided that booktok is only spice. And I am very much a person of well, why is it only spice? Because you have one of my favorite fucking authors is a YA author, Tamora Pierce. Doesn't have fucking spice. Has characters that are couples, has characters that end up together, doesn't do spice. She does very much closed door, very YA closed door, obviously, right? And so, and it's there are some people who are well, booktok has all this. Yeah, but why don't we have a month? Why don't we have a week where we promote the non-spicy? Put it out there and be let's have a week, let's have a month, and let's all promote the YA stuff. Let's promote the non-spicy, all this non-spicy stuff, closed door, not, because I'm not saying it's everywhere, but I'm saying there are times that I think the people who don't do spicy don't get as much notice because people are so focused on the spice.
I get that. Yeah. I mean, what I've equated it to thus far is, because I want to say, I don't remember exactly when I made my TikTok account for my voiceover stuff, but it has to be at least 9 months ago. Right.
Okay.
And since I started it and got onto booktok, I had no idea what I was getting into. Zero. And I will say the first thing I experienced was spicy booktok, right? Yeah. But I felt like that kid in your friend group that doesn't smoke, but everybody else does, right? Yeah. And so it was cool because everybody was respectful of the fact that I didn't narrate spice. Yeah. And so I don't know. That's my own personal experience anyway on booktok.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's been drama in other places, but
yeah, but
you know what I mean?
Out of those.
Yeah, I think our corner has a lot of respectful people. Like I said, I think there's different corners of booktok, but I think the corner that a lot of us try to hang out on is very consent, respectful. We very much are there's boundaries. Yes, respect those boundaries and try not to overstep.
I agree. Right.
So.
Okay.
But Crystal, there's two questions left.
Ask the question that I know you want to ask.
You know which one I want to ask. So you ask the one above it, and I'll ask that one.
No, I'm going to ask this one. Carlos, please do Evil Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, that was my question. Break out. That was my question.
I know.
You knew that was my question.
I knew, and I wanted to ask it.
Evil Mickey Mouse.
Now I'm tripling the amount of chocolate. I'm writing this. Hold on. I'm writing this in my notes. I'm writing Crystal owes me. Okay. So I freaked out. Carlos ran away, and I still have to run. Crystal, that was my question.
I saw it. I just had to ask that.
Mine. We're gonna have a few times 3. I wrote it down. Crystal owes me ×3 chocolate. Anyways.
Well, you gotta wait because I gotta go to Ghana if I get you ×3 chocolate, and that's $2,500.
Fine, I'll ask the boring question. Okay, yes, I have the question. Give us the Evil Mickey Mouse voice.
Evil Mickey Mouse, please.
And then, because I was telling somebody in a live, I'm I should do a question that'll make Disney come after him. And because we all know how the mouse feels about stuff. And by the way, we're going to have to put bleeps over Disney because you know how they feel about anything.
Everything.
So, but I want to hear this voice.
Everywhere.
We're going to get struck so many times. Anyways.
Okay. We're fine.
So please answer Crystal's question that she stole from me anyways.
Well, you should have shown me the question. I wouldn't have asked it.
All right. I'm just writing a line
hiding
in the
good
chat real quick.
questions. I'm going to hide him next time. I'm going to hide him so she can't see him. Now I know the betrayal.
Okay. Oh boy! I will never surrender! I won't be the hero you want, but I'll be the villain you need.
That still sounds too happy, though. It has to be evil Mickey Mouse. Like a sinister. It was a good Mickey Mouse, though. It was good.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
A sinister tone. I want like Mickey Mouse. My voice direction. There.
I'm trying to think of how to do how to incorporate the into like an evil laugh.
Oh my god.
Nope, I don't even know. That ain't even it.
What? Okay. Well, now you have something else to do. Okay, now we know.
I'll end up having to make a video.
Yes, you're gonna have to do evil Mickey Mouse, genie in a bottle. See, and I already deleted the other question because that was such a good end question that Crystal stole from me, anyways. So Harbor, there's gonna be a feud. There's gonna be a feud for a co-host on this podcast. But
no
it'll be massage my chocolate. As soon as I get the chocolate, I'll forgive. I'm a very forgiving person with chocolate.
Well,
anyways.
You gotta wait a few months because we're still trying to coordinate that.
It's been 10 years. 10 years anyway, so.
I met you last year, anyway.
10 years.
I met you last year.
20 years.
The gaslighting.
20 years. Anyway. So, the last question really is, take the next few minutes, pitch yourself, say whatever you want, and you must include, and we're going to put your socials down below, but really this is the next couple of minutes are for you to put yourself out there and woo all the authors to you.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I love fantasy. I love sci-fi. I love thrillers, mystery. I'll even love a romance. I'm open. My schedule-wise, my demo reels are around. My website is cantoniovio.com. I'm everywhere on the internet as cantoniovio. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm not.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people, still in the future, in my book reviews, you will be able to hear the amazing Carlos voice Hephaestus.
Wow. Ooh, that's going to be fun. I forgot you'd asked him to do that.
Yep.
Yeah. Actually,
I still haven't decided.
I'm going to surprise you with something, Mia. I actually have planning to, when I have Carlos do the Hephaestus voice, I'm going to have it be on the episode I review your book.
Oh no! Oh no! Why are we tormenting me first? You already stole my question, bro. What are we doing? Like rude.
Hey, I'm advertising both of y'all right now. How is that rude?
This is not demure. This is not mindful.
Lady, I don't believe in demure or mindful.
What? Look. We are very demure, mindful. Anyways, I'm going to stop lying. So moving on.
Stop lying.
Look, I think the crowd has heard us rant about AML like 16 times. There's no way we're demure and mindful over here. But
we're not forgiving. We're very judgy when we need to be.
Sure.
Us judging? No,
never.
What?
Not a single time.
My face keeps disappearing. So I love that I was like, oh, we're not judgy, and I disappear.
I would like to throw in to like any people that are thinking about voiceover.
Yeah.
Get on social media, find voice actors, and ask the questions, man. I mean,
yeah.
I've found this community of VOs to be super open and not gatekeepy at all. Yeah. You know, it's a really good, both on booktok and outside of booktok, between narrators and just VOs in general. Yeah. It's a really good community.
It is. It's great.
I will say this about your community. even, I'm an indie author. Before I even got onto TikTok and started talking to people, I have friends, I was lost with a lot of stuff. And even with a lot of my author stuff, a lot of narrators have, been good about advice and things that even I thought as an author, I never even thought of. And it actually helped me a lot. So I would say the voice actor community is a very, very kind, very, very helpful community.
I agree. Yeah. That's been my experience as well.
Yeah, I love my voice actors. I remember when I first joined a couple years ago, and the crowd that I still love, which is the Booksterhood, they had Corvin was one of their main narrators, and the amount of people that Corvin has helped is ridiculous.
Right.
And but it's not just him. There's a ton of narrators who want to help each other and get you started. And to the point that I think what I love is because we authors do that too, but it's so nice to see that they'll send you audio equipment. They'll send old audio equipment they have to you guys to get you started and help you out. And that's awesome because that's why I always get mad when people talk shit about BookTok, because I'm like, there is a whole corner of BookTok. There's a lot of us who help each other, who try to boost each other up constantly. And I think that the media it's oh, what scandal can we talk about now? But it's BookTok is not just about the scandals. It's about a bunch of people working fucking hard to write their books, narrate the books, illustrate, edit, all these kind of things. So
all the things.
It's really an all-encompassing community. Yeah.
And I think it gets too much crap sometimes.
Yeah.
Besides some people in it who need to be slapped. I'm not saying there are people who don't need to be slapped.
We have that everyone.
Community's perfect. Yeah. No, I hear you.
Yeah. Okay, well, I think we're almost to the end, but I was going to ask you, are you participating in KT's Live next weekend?
I am. Yep.
Yes. So next weekend we've talked.
Make sure to tune in for the A Million Friends Live.
Yes, we're doing that. So next weekend on TikTok, and we'll include a link to that down below. We're doing an event for all the people who got affected by AML, and that person we won't talk about who should be thrown in a sewer. And what we're going to do is make something happy come out of it. And what we're going to do is there's going to be narrators, there's going to be authors, people are going to be pushing out their stuff. And also, even if people can't attend, we have a list that we are putting out there of everybody else's socials who can't attend. That way their stuff is out there to follow. And I will be modding every single day of this. So I will be there, probably going a little crazy and hyper. I will be jacked up on caffeine. So anyways, I might buy fun though.
Drinks. Yeah. And they have a lot of, there's a lot of, I think Tome is involved.
Yeah.
With sponsoring it and stuff, the Tome app and stuff. It should be big.
Popping up, indie authors popping. There's an indie author support group that does a lot of stuff. They're helping. There's a lot of people who are donating their time. They're redoing the BIPOC panel. They're redoing the LGBTQIA panel. They are going to try to redo. And this time, Santa Claus is not allowed into the swag bags. He's not allowed to steal anything. There's no glass badges. There's nothing. There's only good things. Well, I have to mention it. It's there. So, anyways, you guys. So, Carlos. Thank you for joining us. We super appreciate it.
Thank you so much for coming on to our crazy podcast.
Yes. Happy to be here. I'm hyped to be the first guest of many more. I'm sure
you were the first guest, and actually, Lindsay might fight you because we were supposed to. Lindsay's been asking.
I don't want to fight Lindsay, bro.
Before. I mean,
nobody wants to fight Lindsay.
Lindsay could probably fuck me up. I'm not.
I will pay to see Lindsay.
I'm not trying to box. He looks tough as shit. I'm not trying to fight Lindsay.
True. Mia, the people don't know who we're talking about.
Okay, so the Spine Bookshop, who's one of our besties, who holds AuthorCon, which will be in April of next year. She's actually we've told her she's going to be a guest on the show, and she's huge. We actually met her because she's an activist who is trying to keep books from being banned everywhere in her community.
Yeah.
And so so I told her today, I was like, oh yeah, we're doing this thing, but I'm like, don't worry, we're still going to have you. But now I'm trying to think how I can start some shit and have Carlos and Lindsay fight each other. Anyways,
don't do that. Lindsay would knock them out.
That's what YouTube wrestling matches. Why can't we have booktube wrestling matches?
No. We're not letting the voice actor get hurt. We need his voice.
No, Lindsay's a badass, though. Lindsay's
as long as his voice is okay, what?
Right? Yeah, just no throat or headshots. That's it.
No heads, nothing above the throat. Yeah, everything below is fair game. I mean, other than the heart, you don't want to like.
Fair. Yeah, fair. No blade.
I mean, this is like, I need to get out of here. I'm feeling my life.
Where's the towel so I can throw it? Like,
I'm just saying, hey, what if we want to raise money for anyway? So I think we've asked all the questions.
Yeah, but Carlos, you have been a fantastic first guest, and we will probably trick you into coming back. So
absolutely, anytime, man.
Oh, of course, trick. And don't worry, I'll find more questions, and I have it written down. Genie in a bottle and more evil Mickey Mouse. I have it written down.
I will have to practice that for sure.
Right. Yeah, you definitely will.
Right. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We loved having you here. So please like and subscribe and comment.
Like, comment,
and then follow this guy. Follow the Carlos. Yes. Find him on TikTok. We'll put all the socials below.
Awesome.
Yes. And he will be in our books. And he's not trapped in my narrator. But anyway, so look, where's the end button? Let me